Hey, what's up? Welcome to Gen XY ZEN. My name is... I have nothing. I have nothing if I don't have you, Ricky.
I am Merry Christmas, Beth. I don't know. I didn't think of anything better.
Nice one. Welcome to Gen XY ZEN. We are a BIPOC video podcast. I think we're landing on a video podcast. I think that's a good identifier.
I thought we were chat commentary. I don't know. We're still identifying ourselves. So
Yes.
It's like our freshman year of college. We don't know who we are yet. So, okay.
We'll get there. We're experimenting with a video podcast or vidcast for short. We cover all things BIPOC in pop culture, media, the internet, tech, and more. So make sure, if that's interesting to you, make sure you subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and let us know what you want to hear about. And we would love to have you join us. Let me turn down our little... Wait, let's turn it up first. Hey. That's some royalty-free music courtesy of a YouTuber who I'll have to link in the description because I forget his name right now. But thanks for that. All right. So Beth, yeah, how was your week? What's been going on? Talk to me.
Oh, I mean, it has been a pretty good week. Yeah, but I am here. I am about to join a movie group. Have you been in one of these, Ricky, yet?
A movie group?
Yes.
Like a meetup or like a book club?
Yeah, we kind of we talk about movies and things. Oh shoot. Okay, but yeah, we talk about different groups. About different weird ass movies. Like one movie they watched is Velocipaster. Velocipaster, like a dinosaur and a pastor came together. Anyway, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am going to send you the link right now. And then what we are watching this week is called Llamageddon. So that's what I will be watching later tonight. I mean, and this llama, yes, and this Llamageddon has this llama has red eyes and he's trying to take over the world. I mean, I assumed it was a he. Maybe it's a she. I don't know. Not trying to discriminate.
Okay,
yeah,
so Velocipaster. The Velocipaster, a man of the claw. Okay, bye.
Yeah, no, the whole point is to watch really bad movies and just kind of lean into that. So my first movie of this group will be Llamageddon tonight. I'm very super excited.
That's amazing. I didn't even know what kind of subculture genre films are though. It knows what it's doing, right? Those people know what they're making.
I mean, it's mainly that you're watching bad stuff and you're leaning into it and commenting in real time. But one of the links that came up, I wanted to
you stole my thing. I was gonna do this.
Yeah, I know.
What the actual hell?
Okay, wait, were you gonna share this?
Mario Lopez stars as KFC's sexy Colonel Sanders in Lifetime mini movie. First of all, Colonel Sanders is rolling in his grave because Mario Lopez could never, says the Colonel.
But you know what? There is 11 herbs and spices. I mean, I think that Mario Lopez is that's right. Boop, boop. That is a secret spice. Mario Lopez is a secret spice, obviously. Actually, I find him a lot hotter here than I ever found him as AC Slater or anything else. He's so hot in his ascot.
But it's a Lifetime movie as well. You know what? My mom will totally watch this because they're always watching Lifetime movies.
It's really just an extended commercial. It's not a full-on movie. It's only 22 minutes, but there is knives and there's the whole thing he has a secret spice. He has a secret spice. And then there's some guy with a knife. He has the secret spice.
So the whole thing, the secret recipe?
Yeah, the secret recipe.
Oh
no,
Colonel Sanders in the hunt for the secret recipe. Sounds like a Indiana Jones, one of the part of the it's the one that got binned. They decided to bring it back. The pandemic is really allowing for some trash to they've just Netflix has gone through everything. They're out of ideas. So why not Colonel Sanders?
I mean, it is both the hottest. It is the hottest chicken I've seen in a while. So like,
Oh, the hottest chicken. The spiciest Cocker Spaniel on the block. Actually, I didn't realize there's a remake of Saved by the Bell or a reboot. And
yes.
the adult actors who were children at the time, yeah, they're in it. And I think he's in it as well. That's something to check out.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely of interest. So, I mean, I'm just saying. Did I ever show you? Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I'm going to show you one thing. Have you ever seen my pillow that's behind me?
Oh my God, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, that's right.
Where did you get that? Off of Etsy or something?
My sister-in-law, we got into this weird thing where she sent me a like a mermaid pillow of like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but it was either that between that and Nicolas Cage, and they got into a contest of giving each other like random mermaid pillows of random stars and things. So this is one of them.
Okay, go off, sis.
But I really want to see this Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders as a mermaid sequin pillow. Like that's the next step.
Oh
like I want that.
I wonder,
I mean,
are there
like,
any? Was Colonel Sanders a real person? Like, did he
believe
really
so.
come up with the original recipe?
Yeah, I think the 11 herbs and spices is basically what you can find in like like Italian dressing, pretty much. But yeah.
So then, I
Anyway,
wonder. He has an estate. I'm assuming there's family members still existing of
oh
the Colonel Sanders dynasty.
yeah, but they approved this. They approved this
Yeah,
message
so
on
they
my.
had to approve the movie and the casting.
Yeah.
What kind of
And
like?
they're
Can you
like,
imagine the great grandchild of Colonel Sanders being like Mario Lopez? He would want Mario Lopez to
you
play
know,
him.
I feel like it's more like his granddaughter was like, yeah, let's loop in Mario Lopez. Like,
I mean, that's why I say turning in his grave, because no shade, but I'm assuming Colonel Sanders might have been problematic, antebellum-ish themes.
I mean, he said wear it all white for a reason, right? So it's not quite with the flair, the ascot that like Mario Lopez
Oh my
is.
gosh. All right.
Anyway,
Well, that's going to be fun. I can't wait to hear how that goes.
it's this Sunday, I guess. It's really just a long commercial for KFC, but
Is it invite
regardless,
only or this group?
no, it's just on Lifetime. This is a Lifetime movie
No, I
premiere.
mean your bad movie review group.
Oh yeah, it's just like a small like book club kind of thing. So
Okay.
we're not. This is just an extension of like one of the conversations we're having. But I will keep you posted on Lamageddon.
Yes, please do.
And if you have any other bad movie suggestions, let us know. Okay, freaky.
Do you want to ask me about anything, or do you just want to?
I was just asking Ricky about your week. I thought that was.
I mean, that wasn't a complete sentence. You were just like, Ricky.
Ricky, wait, sorry, Ricky. How have you been?
We're supposed to be creating like natural dialogue and like back and forth. Like I know that now it's my. I know now it's my turn to talk about my week, but you have to freaking prompt me, girl, so that we have this conversation going. That's how these podcasts work.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so Ricky, how was your week? Tell me more.
My week has been great. Thank you for asking so much. I appreciate that with everything that I have. My week has been great.
Oh, lay that on with more butter, please.
My week has been great. I found a gym that's safe. So I was at wit's end. I need to work out. I need movement in my life. I need load and stress on my muscles. It's just gotten that bad. So I was Googling private gym or private personal trainer. I was looking for a personal trainer that has their own space that will do private. I was like, you know what? I'll just pay for whatever that is just to get the get the exercise and have the safety. And I found a gym in Grandview. It's called Warehouse Fitness, and it's a private club. He only allows 50 members. total. Even before
Oh,
COVID, it was only 50 members total. Each member gets a key fob to the warehouse, and it's open 24/7. You can just go whenever you want. And he's got amazing COVID protocols and cleaning schedules. There's like a cleaning crew there all the time, and he himself cleans. When I went for my orientation, he had a mask on with a face shield and gloves. And he even kept like, it was definitely more than 6 feet distant.
yeah,
Because even at one point, I came, not that I was going to shake his hand or anything, but I just kind of came closer just to
yeah,
to
yeah.
talk
Just
and hear
like,
him through the mask. He's like, "Hey, yeah, it's so nice to meet you. Let's keep the distance." I was just like, I'm in the medical field, and I was like, "Oh God, this guy thinks I'm about to break protocols." But yeah, anyway, all that to say, I felt really comfortable with the systems and the setup, so I
yeah,
joined, and I went this morning at 8 a.m. and I was the only one there, so I had the entire gym to myself, which is awesome.
that's so nice. That's really awesome.
So yeah, getting it in. It's time for that winter workout so that when next
Oh,
summer comes along and we're all free because we're all vaccinated, we can just run around and be confident in the
and
speedo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not wearing a speedo.
and then you can like walk around like, do you want to taste my secret spice?
Yeah. Never mind. I had something to say. I'm not gonna say it. All right, so we've got a great show for you coming up, and we're gonna start with our first segment, which is Have You Heard? All right, welcome to Have You Heard, where we talk about things in the media and the internet, pop culture, I don't know, books. We just want to know, have you heard?
Ah,
So, yeah, so
have
Beth,
you heard?
what did you discover this week?
Have you heard? The economy has reached a peak. It has not. It has reached a big pinnacle recently. Do we know that or not? Have you heard that?
I hadn't heard that. What is the pinnacle?
Yeah. So we are beyond
Well, actually,
30.
I
Like,
lied. I have
yeah,
noticed because, I'm all in with I don't know if whatever. I'm all in with Fidelity with all of my accounts in my retirement.
yeah,
And you're not supposed to check your retirement, right? Because you make those
right.
long term plans. But I can help myself at least once a week. I'm like, what's that? How's that bag looking? And so I checked it last week and I was like, oh,
Bam!
hey, retirement. So something is going on because, yeah, the market's doing well, but I don't think people in general are doing well, are they?
Yeah, no, that's actually the kind of the question. Like, so have you heard like the stock market isn't like a real world indication of how the rest of the world is doing or the average people. So if you could pull up a
Yeah, I
sent you
got
a
you.
link. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So go with this little historical chart here. All right. Yay. So that is the Dow Jones.
Let me
Okay.
make this
So
bigger.
yeah. So the stock market in general is a whole bunch of markets and exchanges, is what we talk about when we talk about the market. Oh, okay. And by the way, all this is important to us because like we're trying to say like Trump would be like, I rule because of this stock market. It's been amazing. But actually it's peaked since he, even though he has not yet to admit it, lost the election. So, but we're
Yes.
kind of like looking at what the stock market is over time. So if you could zoom in, you can move that little scroller thing. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, like look, and then you can also move that little thing at the bottom in that gray bar below the years.
Uh huh.
Yeah, you can like shrink down the years.
Oh,
Okay,
I
move
see.
it.
So you want to
Yeah,
get
move it.
where do you want to go?
Like let's go to like the recently, again the 2000s, the last part of this. Yeah,
2000s to 2015.
yeah, we're gonna look specifically at 2020 actually for now.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Oh wait, oh, you have to move it out. Wait, what's going on?
my mouse is taking out. My
What is
mouse,
your mouse doing? Okay, wait,
it
let's
won't
put
let
it
go
out.
of it. Oh, maybe I over.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, it stayed it out actually for a while. So, okay, let's talk about the Dow Joneses in general. So it's
Just talk.
basically
I'll
like
catch up.
there's like the 30 biggest companies are usually what's tracked by the Dow Jones Index. So the Dow Jones is not a market, it's not an exchange, it's just like 30 really big ass companies that kind of lead the market at the time. So they change over time. Like for example, like Bethlehem Steel, which was like part of Carnegie. Here we go. Oh, you had to refresh the page.
Yeah, it was being stupid. There we
Okay,
go.
wait. Okay, leave it back out there for a second. So as you can see, first off is that like the market is at like its all-time high. We're about 30,000. Look at this all the way up here. Ah, look at that. That's where we are now. So
Money,
even though
money,
like
money.
I don't know about you, but like I'm a major credit card debt. The like job market's pretty soft, but yet the stock market's freaking rocking. What is up with that?
Yeah, what's contributing to that?
Yeah, because the stock market is kind of decoupled from like what people pay and like what like it's not tied to like our everyday kind of thing. So like let's go to 2020. We'll look at that for a second. If you just go to 2020 right now, it should expand. Oh wait. I'm sorry. Okay, we got this thing where we can't do a screen share, so like Ricky has to navigate to me, and we're having
What? I
some
did
issues.
it. We're in October and November of 2020.
Since COVID happened, so like April.
No, no,
Okay, yeah. So yeah, perfect. We'll go with that. Okay, as you can see, there's a huge dip when COVID happened because the market's just like, what the what? The economy is gonna crash. So there's a huge freaking dip. But then it went up and up and up because they're betting right now on technology. Because obviously we're all buying stuff on Amazon. They're also betting on like pharmaceutical companies. So that's
Yeah.
part of the reason like things go on. And then if you go back to the 1930s, actually.
Oh. Do you
Yeah.
remember the time when we
So
fell in
yeah.
love?
So like back in the day in the 1930s, actually a little bit like 1929, 28 to
Okay.
1940s, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, look at
Oh, is
that.
that the Great
That's
Depression?
what do you think? Yes, that is the Great Depression. So back in the day, the stock market was actually tied to like what people made and what they don't. So like everybody, like even like it wasn't just rich people, it was everybody was in the stock market. And then suddenly like shit fell out. And then could you play that clip from if you could play the clip right now from It's a Wonderful Life. Y'all remember the
Over now,
movie?
but there's something funny going on over there at the
There's
bank,
something
all
funny
right.
going on in the bank.
I've never really seen one, but that's got all the earmarks of being a run.
Okay, so like back in the day when there was a rush on the bank, this is when the stock market was tied.
Just
Okay, wait, we'll give it a
remember that
second.
this.
Or do you want the?
It's specifically like play right here when he says this is off.
The sound is really bad. Sorry.
I have some news for you, folks. I was just talking to old man Potter, and he's guaranteed cash payments to the bank. The bank's going to reopen next week.
But, George, I got my money here. Did he guarantee this place?
Well, no, Charlie, I didn't even ask him. We don't need Potter over here.
And I'll take mine now.
Okay.
No, but you're.
Okay, so but I mean, you remember this movie?
Place all wrong, as if I had the.
Like what is like this whole scene though? Like the whole idea was that like back in the day, the money was actually the bank. It's no longer in the bank. Like after the Great Depression, there was a whole bunch of checks. Like banks, you could do a rush on a bank, and there would be no money because the money was physically in a bank. But now there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of safety checks. And the other thing too is like there was a lot of unemployment, but now we have things like unemployment insurance. We also have Social Security. We have Medicare. We have Medicaid. None of those things existed during the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And all
Didn't
those
the
things.
FDIC? Doesn't that come? That's born from the Great Depression.
Yeah, exactly. So there's insurance now, like on banks. So like the money isn't actually physically in a bank. The money is insured by a federal system. So none of that stuff happens. Also, there's backup systems within the stock market. So if it falls to a low level, there'll be backups. So that also means that like the stock market isn't necessarily reflecting what's going on in the market, like for our everyday lives.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like it's pretty decoupled. Like there's not like real oh my goodness, I'm not explaining this well.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is that what we know from the stock market, anybody who has any type of wealth, they're invested in the stock market. And that's part of that privilege that most of the, not even the 1%, a lot of middle class people have, stocks. But I think most people of color, especially, black women, single mothers, they don't have that expendable income to have it put in the stock market. They don't have room for that risk.
Yeah.
And they don't even have the ability to have high interest savings accounts, because the whole idea, there's no point you shouldn't have just money in your bank because money depreciates in value. So when you have money in the stock market or in a high yield savings account, it makes those adjustments as inflation happens, as the dollar, varies. You're making money on your money, and most people, most BIPOC families are not in that position, and it just contributes to the inequality of the system.
Right. I mean, like, because like most of the people who are speculating in the stock market are people who already have a lot of money that they can make those kind of bets. So it's also kind of like working in corporate America, you would see what goes on in a company, and it wasn't necessarily about the best decisions, even for that company itself. It was to make people feel good. So this is the secret sauce behind the stock market, is that it is about numbers, but it's really about the emotions of the people with the stocks, who they feel good about. Like, so it's not real world assets. Like for example, I worked in journalism. So you had a whole bunch of places that they had a lot of properties, they had a lot of people working for them, they had a lot of real world values. But what the stock market really looks at is what they think the future of those businesses will be. So they're investing right now, say in say technology, but and some of those are like IPOs. And who knows if they have they don't really have much actual assets when it comes to properties or things they create. It's about the idea about what the businesses are.
Yeah, it's about the buzz. It's about the potential.
It's about the buzz.
That's how a lot of companies go under, and my company specifically, Cirque du Soleil, they go under because you take money and lines of credit off of the potential of a company to grow. So, just because you have plans to open 10 shows in the next 10 years, and you can draft up potential profits from that plan and take that to an investor or a lender and say, well, look, we're good for it because here are the plans. But you're only banking on the idea, you're not banking on the actual logistics of getting it done and actually, being successful. So then you take out all that money off of a hope and a dream, and then, COVID hits
Right.
and you lose revenue immediately, and you can't make your loan payments. So
Yes.
yeah, the whole thing, it's like the whole economy is based on a lie.
Well, the whole economy is based
Not a lie, but on projections, I should say, which
the whole economy is like based on our concepts of what, like, let's think about, like, money isn't even actually a thing. There used to be gold to $1. There's no longer gold.
Doesn't mean anything.
Like, like right now, like money is really just our shared imagination about what this thing is worth. So like, what is the euro versus the dollar?
Yeah.
That is our shared imagination about what these things are worth, because it's not actually backed by actual physical assets.
And I think that's what contributes to financial irresponsibility, because it's just numbers on a screen. So it doesn't actually mean anything. When you spend money, you don't physically see like a brick of gold leaving your vault and going to someone. You just click and, it goes away from your account and then it's added. And, all it takes is one data breach, one hack, and someone could literally just clear your entire savings. And it's not based on anything. And that's what's it's really scary about it.
I mean, it's not, it's just much more about perception and like the mental state of people who have money, that what they can see it to be.
Yeah.
So,
and education as well, because those upper middle class, majority white families that, grow up knowing about stocks and options and bonds and trust funds, those families educate their kids about money and how to use the system. But most BIPOC families, kids, like, I didn't get that education. I didn't know about how to invest in the stock market. Even like responsible saving, I didn't get any of that because my parents didn't get that from their family. And that's the thing. In order to change those habits, I only have a niece and nephew, but you have to like break that cycle of not knowing the best practice. So I'm for sure gonna, when my nephew gets his
Right.
first job, is like save 20% of that, pay yourself first, and then pay. It takes a while to change that
Yeah.
mindset though. This idea of paying yourself
Yeah.
before you're paying a company
Other
by
people.
buying their project. Their me as I sit here in my Ivy Park Adidas top.
I mean, well, the other thing is too is that like we think there's a set pie, that this is how much money a company has, but the rich think that like that pie can be anything. That's how the stock market can go from like 20,000 to 30,000.
Oh,
Oh, by
yeah.
the way, we're talking about the Dow Jones Industrial Average anyway, but that's how we generally judge. It's an index of the top 30 stocks anyway. But we judge that like it can only be this big. Actually, money can be anything. So the rich actually can create money out of nothing, which is
Oh,
something
yeah.
we are not taught ever. And the other part too is that it is your perception of the market. Like, who did the private loans go to? They primarily went to like it's already established companies
The
instead of small
PPP
businesses.
loans. Yeah.
Yeah, PPP loans. Yes, they went specifically. Who gets invested in Silicon Valley? It's usually not like they're usually the people who look like everybody else who's ever been in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
They
And
aren't,
again,
they
it
aren't
goes,
somebody from the Midwest. They aren't like a woman. They're probably not, like other than Asian or Indian. They're not like, I mean, they look like everybody else.
yeah.
They're probably not over 30. Like,
Yeah. And again, it goes back to education again. Most of the companies that receive those PPP loans probably didn't necessarily need them, but they knew how to use them and work the system. Whereas, you see in the news, and I feel like maybe not the media, whatever, but you saw a lot of stories of like black owned businesses who were exploiting the PPP loans. They were going out and buying cars and stuff. And I don't know, when I started seeing that, I kind of was a bit concerned that the only people sort of being exposed were people of color, when you probably had white collar criminals funneling that money into other
I
accounts and
mean,
doing
like,
other things just as bad, just not as lavish as buying a car, but maybe opening another savings account or purchasing stocks in a certain thing that they knew was going to go up. You know what I mean?
right. Well, there's also things that like the Trump organization, some of their companies got PPP loans. I mean,
Yeah.
like some very established companies, like Shake Shack, for example, got those loans as well. While there's a lot of struggling small businesses, so this isn't just like established restaurants and like entertainment. Like a lot of people who have been super affected, and that's kind of the biggest thing about the stock market right now. It's not reflecting like what a lot of us are seeing. A lot of us have an uncertain job market, especially if you work something in a small business, if you work something in entertainment or restaurants, things that like they just aren't going to come back for at least a year or two.
Yeah. But
There's just no way.
it's always been that way though. It's just it takes something like a pandemic for people to realize the disparity. And it actually is, I mean, it's more across the wider public as well. Cardi B just got in a lot of not a lot of trouble, but she got a lot of flack for a tweet she sent out. Basically it said, "Hey guys, should I get this $88,000 purse? Like yes or no? Comment below," kind of thing. And everybody was like,
No.
"Sorry, Cardi, we love you, girl, but we can't even afford dinner tonight, and you want to tell us about the fact that you're
The
going to buy an
purse?
$88,000 purse?" And you know what? She stood there strong and wrong. She said, "Don't talk to me. You don't know what I donate. Da 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 da. Like I donated $1 million here and $1 million there." And I'm sure that might be the case, but there's still the
Yeah.
optics of, girl, like people don't have it like that. So what are you doing?
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing about this, like the whole COVID economy, is that the rich, the 1%, are still doing amazingly. They're actually doing better because they're like invested in
Oh yeah,
like
all
like
the
tech and pharmaceuticals. They've got like, they own properties that can still bring in money. They own stocks, they're bringing in things. Like they're divested in this whole part of the economy that is flourishing. While the vast majority of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck, job to job, we don't have those safety guards. Like we're not sure if we can pay for insurance. We're not sure what our job security will be. Like we're not sure if we can make a rent or like daily payments, and like all the like aid that we thought were going to be like ending, that might be ending right now. So like
yeah.
we don't have insurances about basic resources right now.
I
And that's
just
a question. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say I pulled up the tweet.
Yeah.
I think this is how it ended. Let's do this challenge. Since you all want to tell me to donate so much, drop receipts on what you have donated to. I will match it and donate to an organization you have donated to as well. Let's start now. But people are in positions to donate. That's not the. It's like so
I mean,
bad.
that's like the worst. I mean, the whole like what would be better is like let's talk to like what brought us out of the Great Depression is partly because we had federal programs that created a safety net so that stuff didn't happen. One, the stock market couldn't crash, that like banks were secured, unlike the run in like Wonderful Life, and that we had like things like Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and unemployment insurance. All of those came out of the Great Depression, where we created programs to support the public in case of these kind of major events. And
Yeah,
like let's like in two
food
in
stamps.
like yeah, and like 2008, like we bailed out the banks. Like who's
And we had
bailing out the
government.
average
We
American?
had government cheese. Remember? Well, maybe I don't know if you ever got government cheese, but I
Oh, my
remember
grandma got
in New
yeah.
York that was the best cheese.
It was. It was like it was American cheese. It was like in
It
a
was like a
block.
brick, yeah, bright ass yellow brick.
Oh, I love
I remember
government
that
cheese.
in New York. My grandmother used to get that, and we would tear it up. So good. That
Oh yeah,
government
my grandma got it
cheese.
too. Oh man, government cheese is amazing.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Yeah,
my have you heard is kind of related to the economy.
yeah, go ahead.
Have you heard of the latest app, which I'm so mad because I don't want to be a part of it, but I want to be a part of it so bad. So much so that I already called a friend who is quasi connected to the industry. And I was like, can I have an invite if you get an invite? So the app is called Clubhouse.
Yes.
So this is like the hot
Tell me
new
more.
app, social media app everyone's talking about. Clubhouse is essentially a platform you can go on, and it's basically a bunch of rooms of different chats. So each room has a subject or has a person that's leading the discussion. So you can go on there, and Oprah could have a chat room about being, a producer, for example. And it's blowing up. It started out back in February, I think. This company, not company, they're like a capital, what are they called? Venture capital firm. These
So
called
people.
Anderson and Horowitz.
Okay.
Basically, they injected 12 million into it, and the app is still in its beta phases. Which, I mean, I'm not any techie or anything, but beta basically means they're still testing the software and the.
Yeah, it's within a small group, so you get like different rounds of funding. So right now, this is released to a very small set to see if it's an actual product before they roll it out for larger funding.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the numbers are. It started with 30, or maybe right now there's about 3,500 people using it. But I guess to go along with the conversation we're just having about the economy and about BIPOC people having education and knowing how to use the economy, how to invest, I noticed something interesting about the startup of Clubhouse. So when they released the app, they first sent out the app to a group of celebrities and influencers, CEOs, to have them play around with it
Yeah.
and get feedback. And it was because of their involvement that it kind of blew up. So I did overkill on this video, but I'm going to play it anyway. I did a little slideshow presentation. These are the first people to get access to the Clubhouse app. The first photo are the owners of the firm, the venture capitalist firm that have the major stake in Clubhouse.
Okay, let's watch it.
So that's Andreessen Horowitz, Steve Stoute, CEO, Kevin Hart. And let me know if you see a common theme in the people who
Okay.
received the app.
Interesting.
There's Gail,
Yeah, loving it.
LL Cool
Yeah.
J,
Oh my goodness.
Terry Crews.
Crews.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of prominent black like personalities.
Yeah, and not nary a white person in that group. And, and it got me thinking, I'm just like, man, the economy has profited off of black people for so many centuries. And now you have this version of this where these white owners of this app, they're like, we need to
Yeah.
get traction. We need it to blow up. Send it to the black people. They'll make it cool. And I read, I mean, the one, I don't know which one, either Andreessen or Horowitz,
Yeah.
kind of was involved in hip hop and producing music at some point. And
Yeah.
there is a connection to the hip hop community and the black community there professionally,
Right.
but it still is curious to me that those are the
Right.
first people that got access to this app in the beta stages that they had. I mean, they put 12 million into it. It's now valued at
Yeah.
100 million and it hasn't even launched officially yet. So it's a good investment, good
Yeah.
return so far.
But I mean, like part of the kind of like the other part of America is that the unemployment is highest among Black Americans. So like there's like such a disconnect in where the economy is. But I mean, obviously like the Black community has been like pretty much every major trend in America has started in the Black community. I mean, you
Yeah.
think about rap, you think about like jazz, like, you know, I mean, you think about rock and roll, like all of those started within the Black community before it went wider.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Oh,
testing ground. Like, you know, you test it there, then you make it white enough,
yeah,
right?
exactly. I found a YouTuber. Her name is Naya Cole. I couldn't. That's the thing. It's so exclusive. I couldn't find screenshots. Really, it was difficult. But now that more of the conversations are going a bit viral, you have Kevin Hart on there talking about his daughter being a hoe-like or exhibiting hoe-like behavior. You have the rapper Mulatto going on there and saying that, you know, she doesn't see herself as Black. That kind of went viral. So now you're seeing more and more. Oh, sorry, because the other point about
Yeah.
Clubhouse is that there are these virtual conferences which audio only. There's no video, and once the conference is over,
Yeah.
once the room is closed, there's no recording. It's done. It doesn't exist on the app.
But I mean, I think this is also maybe that's also why it flourished among like Black celebrities, because they are working in this environment that is kind of which can be it's hostile to everyone. It's specifically hostile to people of color, right? So like
Yeah.
maybe like and you can't and like you have to have like some real world discussions about what's going on, but you don't want to be recorded because like in Hollywood you'd be like, you know, you always see commentary and like, oh, it was wonderful working with this director. Oh my goodness, this actress was so amazing. But you know there was probably like some catfighting behind the scenes, right? So like maybe it was a place where they could like talk honestly about like everything that was going on, and that's part of the
Yeah.
reason that like it became so important to that community and
Well,
why it's
that's
such a good
the,
testing
and
ground.
also that was the appeal of people wanting to get on because it's like I want to get in the room with Jay-Z. I want to get in the room with Oprah, and with this app, allegedly that could happen. So that she did a bit of a review on the app, so she's got some.
Once you are a
Yeah.
member and you are active, when you open up the app, you will see a bunch of different chat rooms. A lot of times, the first one that you see will be, it might be some people that you know, people you're similar to, you know, it's an algorithm. So it'll show you what it thinks you're interested in. You just literally pop into that room, and if you want to talk, you can simply press the hand button, and that notifies the moderator that you raised your hand and you like to be brought on stage.
Yeah, I mean
So
there was more white people on that screen than I saw than like our initial
no, this
conversation.
this
Yeah.
is now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, now there's white people because now it's a cool hip hop Black thing to do. So of course now white people want to be a part of it. That's the whole point.
But I mean, like, I think the other like major thing about this too is it's not video. I think we're all kind of zoomed out. Like we're sick of seeing ourselves. Like I'm sick of seeing myself. Like I'm like looking at myself. I'm like up, down. Like, I gotta rejuve my eyes. Like what the fuck's going on? I mean, like we're all like staring at our faces all
Going
day, and we're
through it,
so
yes.
good at it. Yeah, but there's something nice about just being one, doing just audio, where you can have a conversation without staring at yourself critically or other people critically, and which is I think is part of the appeal to this
Yeah, that's
platform as well.
one of the CEOs said that. He said, I like that I can enter a room and then I can go make my breakfast. I can still listen. I can do other things and I don't even have to participate. It basically is an app of, hundreds and hundreds. Like think of a conference. Remember we used to go to those conferences, your annual conference, like your annual journalism conference. I'm sure you had maybe I've got my annual athletic trainer conference, and you have a whole list of talks you can go to, and you choose, you plan your day based on what talks, what presentations you want to see. This is basically a virtual version of that. I could see actual companies using this. I mean, hopefully we're at we're at the tail end of COVID. The vaccine is here but imagine using that platform to have your annual conference for whatever organization. It could potentially work.
Yeah. I mean, one, that's the thing with COVID. Like, let's think like the influenza that lasted like at least 4 years. Like, even if we get the vaccine next year, most likely this will affect us. This will still be going on for a year or two, and like in America, we'll be like like people in Asia will be wearing masks. Like, it will change how we interact from now on, like at least for the next decade or two.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, like something like this, I think we're all gonna also be more remote. Like people are gonna be like, like a work conference was something fun before, but now it's like, well, I mean, you had to work, but like all the benefits are not necessarily worth the risk now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like if you don't want to see your family, you're not necessarily going to go take this extra risk to go to this conference.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot a fun fact, because I think it speaks to how far we've come with the influence of Black culture on the economy. When Jay-Z approached, so Damon Dash was a producer manager. He approached this jeans company because he wanted Jay-Z to get into like the fashion business.
Yeah.
And the jean company at the time said, we don't think that Jay-Z can sell jeans, and that's Jay-Z who owns Tidal right now. So it's just basically the environment has flipped 180, where now usually Black entertainers are the first people to get, every time there's a new hot female rapper, the biggest thing is which fashion house is going to be the first to invest in her. Cardi B was a stripper who came up on her own, did her own mixtapes and blew up. And it was like, okay, who's going to be the first design? It's kind of like the seal of approval. Once you get that first designer dress sent to you and you get to wear it on the red carpet, that's like, oh, you're the next girl. She had the Met Gala moment with the long,
she had
Tom
style.
Brown, I think. But it's like, that's part of it, because the fashion houses know that hip hop culture drives commercialism essentially. And so, the fact that a jean company was like, Jay-Z, no thanks. And I know he probably wasn't, obviously he wasn't as big as he was going to be at that time, but it's just
but still
crazy
like
missed
he was
opportunity.
still big.
Yeah. So that's Clubhouse. We'll see. Hopefully I get an invite. Friend who I asked to invite me, you know who you are, so don't forget.
I love how you use this platform to shame people. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing, let's talk about designer dresses. They don't usually make them for people who are voluptuous.
No,
yes, so you usually have to be a specific size for them. So, but that leads me to my next random have you heard, which is, did you know that cavemen were chubby chasers?
What? Well, no. Depends on what reason. I could imagine back in the day having a little extra cushion would be a nice to protect yourself from.
It's nice for a little extra cushion.
Cave floors are pretty hard,
Okay, yes, true. So all of these things are true. So okay, so we're gonna talk. There was recently a study came out about Venus figurines. I'm not sure if you've seen these, but they are like the earliest statues that we have seen.
She's just floating there between us.
Yeah, but look, I mean, that is it's pretty much out there. She's out there. She's just bam.
Yeah, she's a big girl. She's a big girl.
You have to remember, at the time, everyone was pretty starving. So, this was the ideal,
But the
Yeah.
gag is, yeah, she's surviving the elements. She's, the skinny bitches that are talking crap about her probably back in the day. They're the ones that are going to go first.
I mean, yeah, like part of the reason that like women survived like the Titanic, like in the Titanic, the women that had to go into the water, they survived longer because they had like more fat than men. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, like he's just, he's like a twig. There's no fat on that. There's nothing protecting him from like
Also,
the
he
cold
didn't try hard
Atlantic
enough to get on that floating door. Don't
Okay,
tell me
the
I'm
door,
wrong. The door situation is a whole
door,
other thing.
okay, the door situation is a whole other thing. But there's also like there's no fat protecting him. I mean, there's something about like fat protecting you in the cold. And so there's a recent study. If you could pull up the study just so we can show. There's a
Yes.
recent study that found that these statues got fatter and fatter as like the glaciers got closer. So fat became a fetish. Yeah. So, and this is the Paleolithic. So this is before like the Bronze. This is before like Egypt. This is before like Greece and Rome and all of this. This is way back when people were living in caves. And so like the Ice Age was happening, and as the ice approached, their figurines got fatter and fatter because they're like, yeah, I need a woman who can survive.
Oh, this is them like imagining. This is their
Yeah.
There's not based on actual women that were part of their tribe or whatever.
It was their fantasy. Like, I mean,
Oh.
it's like they're like, I mean, there was two parts. It's like one, it was partially like right now we have these like dreams about these women who have like big breasts and very skinny waists, but usually those things don't come together. Like we create these fantasies and extremes about what we are sexually attracted to or not. And usually it's what is not prevalent in society and shows that you have like wealth or privilege. So like at the time, like they were fantasizing about bigger women because all the women around them were starving and skinny
Yeah.
and
Oh,
like
my
couldn't
goodness.
survive. So like these fatter figurines became like their like for men it became partially their sexual ideal is that like I need like I can't can you imagine a woman that could be this big? Like now,
I need a
I mean
big
now it's every
mama.
day.
That's
Need me a big
interesting.
mama.
Uh,
And they actually show, like, if you go down to that little chart right there, a little bit low, they actually like do like you can see the figurines getting fatter as the glaciers approached. So like as it got colder, they're like, I need me a woman to like hug up against. So like they're picturing
waist to
someone.
shoulder ratio. Waist to hip
Yeah, so
ratio.
like so they got like chubbier as the glaciers approached because it also became a thing of survival because if you want to have like children, you need like a woman who can survive and obviously if the glaciers are coming in, there isn't much food available, you need a woman who has a lot of reserves to work with. So yeah, so they got like, for the little skinny one, a D, but like they got like kind of towards A in our initial one, like because they get bigger, the glacier's happening. They're like, I
Wow.
need a big woman to keep me warm. Like, and actually, these things weren't just sexualized; they were also just a sign of like. So I mean, like now, like babies survive all the time, but at the time, like a infant surviving was hit or miss. So it was also like if you want to reproduce eventually, like you need somebody who has has reserves to birth and like raise a child.
Yeah. Okay,
So
arts and
anyway,
crafts. Well, that
yeah, but that's also a fun fact because we came through those like kind of like part of our evolution now. That's why people are putting on weight now because
I also I was also gonna say because it said that as obesity in female figurines correlates with climate change, which we're kind of dealing with climate change in a different capacity, but now all of a sudden women want, not all women, but mainstream
yeah,
commercial Instagram women, they want the butt implants and they want to be thick. They give the Kim Kardashians of it all, and
yeah,
now that's becoming the ideal body type, and it's really interesting because again,
which
those
is
are bodies that typically belonged to Black African women. That's
yeah, because
that's
like in the night,
how it goes.
I like big butts and I cannot. I mean, the whole premise was that in the 90s was that they like all like the
Oh
archetypals
my
were very
God,
big.
Becky, look at her butt. It's
Uh,
so
it's
big.
so
It's just
big.
out there, you know? And now it's more like, oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It's so big. I want one.
Yeah, or it's like, or like Becky's like, oh, her butt is so flat. Like, yeah, no, like
It's
it
a status
changes.
symbol now. The ass is a status symbol, which is interesting. It goes into my last Have You Heard, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not really a Have You Heard. It's just a fresh take about Black female bodies not being respected. So I've been reading Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. Let me pull up the where is it? So this all started, this whole like train of thought for me started with this incident that happened at a restaurant, I believe in Dallas. It's a Black owned restaurant called what is it? Something Kitchen with a K. Craft Kitchen. So that's the book I've been reading, and that's the author.
Okay.
And so at this restaurant, it was a boozy brunch, and there's a DJ, the cocktails are flowing, there's trap music playing, and you know, the women are starting to feel the gig. They're starting to feel cute. Like, I know how that goes when you have a boozy brunch. All of a sudden, you just like give a little bit more of a shimmy. So some started twerking, and the owner of the restaurant was not happy with that. So allegedly, he approached them at their table twice to ask them to please not, please don't twerk, please don't shake your booty. It's not that kind of gig. It's not that kind of party. And so then but they continued. And so he finally had it enough and decided to not just address the table, but to address the entire restaurant, which was a majority Black women. So stand by. Let's go back here and I will play it for you.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept so Black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a... Laquan, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
Okay. We cut this off. I can't watch it anymore. I mean, I think the part that like kind of got me was like, how can we tell men to respect themselves if like you aren't respected? I mean, like because I feel like twerking could be an expression of your femininity, of your sexiness, of your power, of your female power. Like, actually, I can't twerk, so. But if I could, so like I'm also jealous of those who can twerk. But I'm just saying that like it is. I can understand that kind of like self-hate coming from like anyone who comes from like any kind of community that isn't at the top, that isn't like
the biggest thing while reading the book, and it just correlated so well with that video that went viral last week. Actually, we're a little bit late. You know, we're not a current events kind of gig. We're just, you know, we discuss. But
we're random.
We're random. But one quote that stuck out to me in that book is that respectability doesn't mean that you're valuable. You know what I mean? So just because you don't represent respectable behavior, that doesn't make your body or you as a human less valuable. And I think that just rang so true because you just see throughout all of time. I mean, again, think about Black slave women. They couldn't even be raped because they lacked virtue. So they couldn't even say no to rape, you know? So that just happened. So, you know, men saw Black bodies as just available, as white men, slave owners, and even back to Christopher Columbus days, you know, they just saw women, BIPOC women bodies, indigenous women, Black women, people, women of color saw their bodies as available and disposable. So just use it and toss it aside. And there's something about that mentality that still exists today. And instead of calling that out, people want to more preach respectability, politics and, be classy. If she would have been classy, it wouldn't have happened. And that's not the point. The point is that it happened. She was assaulted. It doesn't matter if she was wearing a short dress. Just because she was wearing a short dress doesn't mean her body or her life was less valuable. Just because she was a trans woman trying to make ends meet and met a John at a motel, for, little coinage and ended up being assaulted and or killed, that doesn't make her life less valuable because she wasn't doing the respectable thing. That's the biggest thing that stuck out to me.
I mean, like, I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's
but
fine.
I was just gonna say though that like it wasn't just BIPOC women, or it was just women in general were less than men to start off with. Like women were property, like you were not like you were owned by your father and then you were married off and then you're owned by your husband. So even if you were of privilege, and like you also had to understand that like even within white communities then, like the Irish were lower than like English born, etc. Like there was a lot of
but white women still had a particular privilege. And if you think about the white feminist movement, it was always like, all right, we're gonna do us first. We'll come back for you though. Well, you still haven't come back. There's still a problem.
Yeah, but I'm talking more like 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, like free. There's something about the 70s. We'll come back. That's a different conversation, and I fully agree with that. That's a different conversation.
Oh, and I meant to say this at the top of this conversation. If we were set up like logistically wise and knowing the show better, I for sure feel like I would have had a Black woman on to like discuss that perspective of it, just because we can only say you can say so much as a woman, but not, I can only say so much as a man, Black man. But for sure in the future.
If you would like to be a guest, if you would like to be a guest, let us know.
We would love to discuss
we would love to like take this conversation out about topics. So please suggest if you'd like to be a guest.
Yes.
So
perfect.
What I was gonna say in general too is that like it's also like within communities that don't have power, there's like women are really harsh to other women, and it's about the respectability. Like I cannot believe you wore that. Like women, like, and it's also that like within like we'll say like white trash community, like oh my god, like at least I'm not like that. Like and the same, like he's basically saying that kind of like within my community, this is respectable. Like people without power tend to like be even like, oh, it's like Downton Abbey. Like the servants are also like, this is how the rules are set, even though they're not part of the aristocracy.
Yeah.
And they tend to actually be harsher about it than people in the aristocracy.
I just remembered something. Go continue.
Go ahead. No, that was basically
but
it.
I don't know if you want to discuss. Is this about you?
Oh no, I have no idea what you're about to.
Do you remember our days, our nights at Brothers? One particular, you and a friend of yours liked to do something on a particular night. Like once in a blue moon, you would have this particular night out, and then I would go to like be protection, be the quote unquote boyfriend.
Okay, I've forgotten these days, but just tell the story because I don't remember this, and I would love to hear your version of it.
I can cut it out if you don't want to hear.
No,
remember at Brothers used to have like dress, short skirt night. We were just like, we just want to be slutty tonight. Like, let's just go wear a short dress and flirt. But then you never wanted to like have anybody talk to you, so then I would go and be like, no, bro, like it's my girlfriend. I used to get in like so many almost fights, and then thankfully we both knew your friend, and then me being in part of the athletic department, we both knew like OSU athletes. So occasionally there would be one there if my story wasn't believable and a guy still wanted to like harass you guys. Some OSU jock would come and be like, "Back off, not tonight." It'd be like, "Whew."
I mean, I feel like this is probably a deeper sociological discussion, but the more like, I don't know, because it's also like nothing happens those nights. It was more just like we were just
it's
like
an
having
expression,
fun.
yeah. But exactly,
It was just more
it's just a one-off.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of it. Like, it was just like I can be myself and be proud about it, and like not have to worry about being harassed.
Exactly. You both were college students with bright futures ahead, and just because you once in a blue moon wanted to wear a short skirt to a bar doesn't make you less valuable. That's just something that you wanted to do on that night.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, or like, yeah, yes. I mean, because it's something that like, I mean, this is kind of the double-edged sword. That, like, men can go out and like they can be like hot and things, but like women can't go out and just be like attractive without it being read in like all these different ways. Like, you can't just be yourself or be out there without it being like some kind of story
Yeah.
about being,
Or having some sort of agenda, you know?
yeah. But I did forget about that. I mean, but I was a college student at the time, so I wasn't thinking that deep. I was just like,
Yeah.
hey!
That just came to me because I was in Grandview earlier today, and man, that whole area. Well, speaking of brothers, that street, what is that? Front Street? No, not Front Street.
Yeah,
Yeah, Front.
which is like one of the main streets in Columbus, by the way.
Yeah. So now there's all these huge, I don't even know what they are, buildings. It used to be
Yeah.
really flat, that area. You just had like the music venue,
Yeah.
and then
Oh shoot, what's the name of that? It's totally changed though. I mean, that whole part of downtown Columbus is very
yeah.
much changed.
Anyway,
When
I
we went,
digress.
yeah.
I was actually lost. Like, I got really confused because I was just like,
Yeah.
why is there almost a skyscraper building here? What's going on? Gentrification. Anyway, that's another episode.
Okay, this is a whole nother story. Okay, we could go down this road, but we are not going to. So, but like,
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay, well, that was Have You Heard? So, yeah, that kind of was all related by chance. We got the economy and bodies and respectability and
yeah, that was
people. Yeah. Respect women and their choices.
Well, that also brings us to.
Oh,
so,
wait, I have one last. Wait, sorry. Before I say that, one last
yeah.
point about the media and the people at large not respecting bodies, particularly Black women bodies. The Meg Thee Stallion drama. I forgot to bring that so quickly. Meg Thee Stallion was shot allegedly by I forget her man's name. Anyway, it was a big altercation. She was shot in the foot. The police were called. They were that she wasn't arrested, but anyway, long story short, Twitter and social media went off because basically when she showed a photo of her foot, they basically were like, "Ugh, you didn't get shot. That's like a grace wound, you know. You didn't actually have a bullet in your foot." And Tory Lanez is the name of her ex-boyfriend, and then he came out with a song, kind of like a battle rap song, basically saying, "You don't. Why are you lying on me? Oh, you got shot in the foot. How did you not hit a bone or a tendon? How did none of that get affected?" And it kind of started this whole victim blaming thing. And then it became, oh, she's just trying to take down because he's a new kind of up and rising rapper. Oh, she's just trying to take down his career. So it's, she's the one that ended up in the hospital. Someone shot at her from behind because she was leaving the car. They were in a car. She was walking away. Yeah. So that she didn't report it to the police because she wanted to protect him. That's the first thing she said. It's 2020. Have you not seen the times? Why would I call the police? Why would I cooperate with the police? Why would I tell the police that he had a gun? I have a gun. When people are getting shot out here, she's like, my first instinct was to protect him and protect us. So I didn't tell them about the gun. The story she told was that she stepped on glass when the police asked her about her foot. Yeah. So, here you've got a Black woman. Her first instinct is to protect the Black man who potentially assaulted her. Yeah. And you got the internet coming after her saying, like, she's trash for trying to take down his career. Then an additional to that is they started that party at Kylie Jenner's house. Kylie Jenner had this party, pool party or whatever. Yeah. That's where the argument started, and then they left. Kylie Jenner unfollowed Meg Thee Stallion on social media after this story went viral.
Oh, I can't even.
And it's like, this is after that Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B put Kylie on a pedestal by putting her in the WAP video. She has this pointless cameo where she just walks down the hallway with her fake ass and just kind of like looks coyly at the camera. It was completely irrelevant, not necessary for the video.
That is a fake ass probably. But okay, regardless, like she did look fabulous.
So that,
but
that whole story, like what I was trying to get at was that incident with Meg Thee Stallion basically encapsulates the point I was trying to make. You've got a white woman sort of playing as a Black woman by altering her body in all these different kinds of ways, profiting from a platform of the two
Right.
main rap females in the game right now by having a cameo in their video. Immediately when something goes wrong
But
and
she
she's
doesn't support
assaulted,
that.
you unfollow her because you're associated somehow with the story because the argument started at your party.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's like where's the
also
support? Where's like women supporting women? You know?
well, women are not nice to other women. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
I mean, there isn't necessarily anyway,
there's
there's a
no rhyme
lot
or
of
reason to it, is what you're saying. No
no,
premeditation.
there's rhyme and reason. There's a lot of competitiveness to it. But I mean but there's a lot of viciousness that isn't that is behind the scenes and women hide it behind smiles and kind of things.
Yeah,
But I would also say that something like not calling the police, when you grow up in privilege, you don't see or even just in general America, like calling police or not calling police. It's really hard for white Americans to understand why you would not call the police. It's really hard for people who are rich to understand why you would not call the police. But there's a lot of populations in America that they know why they don't call the police. And the reason I bring that up, did you know that I was on a murder trial jury? Did I tell you that?
no, you did jury duty. You got picked for a murder.
Yeah, it was in DC. I didn't tell you that.
No.
Yeah, no, this was back in 2007, 2008, something like that. No. Anyway, but it was in DC and usually how you pick oh sorry, this is a whole side story. But usually the people you don't pick for a jury, they can't work in law enforcement, they can't be legal, they can't be journalists, they can't know the person. But in DC, everybody knows everybody. So it's a very small community. So, but you can see it was basically everyone who was young and oh, and by the way, DC uh is uh a chocolate city with a marshmallow heart. So all of it's true.
I
So
went to school in DC. I went to DC public, so I know what's up in DC. So yeah, continue. Kids snorting lines of chopped up chalk, mimicking what their parents probably were doing at home. Yeah. Hi, military brat. I'm just trying to get an education. I don't know what that is. Sorry,
I
continue.
mean, you also think these the most powerful people in the world, and also this actual community in DC, plus all the people who came here because of whatever. But but it was pretty illuminating, seeing the jury being picked. Everybody who was young and black was gone, and then it was all some black grandmas. That was the jury, and then a few white professionals. I was still a journalist, but I was the least offender because you're not supposed to be a journalist, but or you can't work in law. But that's all the people. Only people who live in DC work for the government or in journalism. Why else would you move there to this horrible place? Why else?
But it's such a testament to America. You've got the highest rates of poverty and crime and just poor education in the District of Columbia, America's center.
Yeah, so so basically the only there was only black grandmas. There was a smattering of white professionals, and there was then maybe me and this other guy who were youngish youngish brown people. They specifically got rid of all the young black people. They specifically got rid of but the conversations in that room, some people were uh, oh and so this guy got killed by accident. They were smoking PCP cigarettes at the time. The person who was accused was called Psycho. That was his nickname. And the only people who were giving testimony was the guy whose house it was at, and the other guy who was caught dragging the dead body with blood on his body.
Ooh. Possession's 9/10 of the law, or what does that say?
I mean, there were so many things going on in this case. But I remember having this conversation in this room because this one young white guy was why wouldn't they call the police? I'm you're a young black man. You're smoking. No. You don't call the police.
And you never call the police.
Never call the police that. but it felt so weird that I was representing something that like I had no idea about because I'm like a white Midwesterner. Like just picture me a Karen. That's who I am inside. Like, but yet I'm like, you don't call the police. What are you thinking? And it was also this like, and then there's also conversations like, I feel like I should just say he's guilty, just because like, what if he is?
Oh
And there's
God.
like,
That's literally probably or reasonable doubt. Like you literally have reasonable doubt. You just said reasonable doubt out loud.
but then the whole thing was like, have you watched any like like Law and Order? Do you basically understand the law? Like you don't. You have to be sure they're guilty. I mean, you don't have to know the law. You just watched,
Yeah.
TV. Like anyway,
Crazy.
but there's definitely a conversation where like people just I feel like just don't basically understand that like the fear of somebody not calling the police and the fear of like I don't know. Sorry, that was a whole. Sorry, I went on a whole tangent.
No, but
there.
I mean, yeah, it's a valid point. Most people of color, the rule is you don't call the cops because 9 times out of 10 it will escalate to something that you didn't even really intend. And that's why defund the police doesn't mean abolish the police. It means reallocate funds so that the departments can hire social workers and counselors and people who are skilled at de-escalating situations involving people with mental health concerns or
because there's been so many cases. I mean, like this case, I mean, specifically, you're not going to call the police because they were like, they were just dumb young kids who were smoking drugs. They're doing drugs. So like, obviously not. But it's also like there's a lot of cases of like very law-abiding citizen just calling out a concern and getting shot dead with no probable cause.
And that's why I was so upset when I had the cops called on me for doing my job at someone's house, and it was a black family. And to this day, I'm still salty about that because you're a black woman and you called the cops on a black man doing his job, and you don't know how that could have ended. I mean, obviously, because I was trained properly, which is in of itself is a problem. I know how to manage and communicate and deal with police officers. So, yeah.
But still, like they could just have a bad day or just like
exactly. You don't know what's rolling up. That was the most nervous, 10 seconds seeing him come up through the driveway. I was just like, okay.
Because there's so many laws of perception. There's so many things about perception that like people make decisions in a split second based on perceptions. That like, anyway. Okay, sorry that turned long. I apologize.
No, that's fine. They always do. That's what we do. For have you heard? So let's wrap that up.
Yes.
Make sure comment below if you've got any interesting stories or anything related to what we just discussed, and we'll take a look and maybe we can we can come back around to some of those comments in the next episode. So we got coming up our random rabbit hole. Stay tuned.
Okay.
And we're back.
Yes. And we're back.
Random rabbit hole, where we take some time and talk about a random hole. Oh, random hole. No, we don't talk about random holes. We talk about random rabbit holes that we've gone down recently. Beth, you recently went down the rabbit hole on a particular...
Good. Okay, you just made that weird.
La, la.
You just made it so weird. Okay.
It's the pandemic. The 2020 has been a little dry. So
that's why you don't go down the holes. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Get in your home. It's your home. What is that? Happy Gilmore. It's your home.
Okay, anyway.
So Beth, since we're over time, we'll just do one. We'll just do yours.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yes.
I've
got it pulled up.
You have it pulled up. So okay, so this holiday is the first time in my whole life I'm not spending it with my family, which is so weird to spend a Christmas without my family. But it's COVID time, so I didn't feel safe traveling. What about you? Well, you're living with your family, so has it affected your holiday plans at all?
No. status quo over here. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but like as a single person, like separated from family, like it's been really weird not being around my family. And I feel like a lot of people, because like usually you go visit people during the holidays and you can't do it this holiday season, which made me think about this. Once you have it ready, this trailer, this movie I watched a few years ago.
Okay, do we want to watch the whole trailer?
Just start at that mark I told you.
Oh, what? You did give me a mark. What was
Yeah,
it?
oh, that's fine. Just watch it.
Okay.
Phoning about
Joyce Carol Vincent.
I'm looking for any information, no matter how minor, about Joyce Vincent.
The real parts are like great.
You know,
Here,
reporters always get asked, oh yeah, what's the best story you've ever done or the worst story? And this is in my clutch of ones that you will just remember through a lifetime.
Mrs. Besant, we have a repossession order!
We knew pretty quickly that it was out of the ordinary.
She wasn't alcoholic, she didn't smoke, she didn't take drugs.
Miss Vincent!
We're just gonna watch this little part. So yeah, so this woman died in her apartment and no one found her for 3 years. Her television was still on.
3 years?
3 years. She was living in a London flat. So like she died in front of her TV. Like, so her TV never shut off.
Oh my gosh.
And like
was she in the living room?
She was in the living room. The TV was on. She was on the couch and she was wrapping Christmas presents, which I always thought was like the most painful detail. Like she wanted to give gifts to people. She was wrapping them, but none of the people checked on her for 3 years.
Wait a minute. I got questions already. I'm wrapping presents and I kick the bucket. Obviously, we know each other well enough that I'm getting you gifts and you don't come knocking at least the day that we're meant to exchange the gifts, or I don't know, after New Year's, you don't hear from me. Like what? I smell a shenanigans. But continue. Did you?
Okay.
Side note: you've already watched the documentary or just the trailer?
No, I've watched the whole thing. Okay, so go back. Yeah.
No spoilers then.
Yeah, but go back. So like, but the thing is that we find out. Actually, go back to the trailer for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
What we find out is that like she's not like what you usually suspect. Like she's like a druggie. She's an alcoholic. So go back a little bit. Right here. Stop here. Go. Play, yeah. Right when that like fuzzy stuff starts.
Was by comparing dental records.
It was so horrendous. She was found in front of her television that was still on for so many years.
3 years and nobody's come looking for you.
You have this mystery that's suddenly thrown up.
You can even see her like arm.
Are those reenactments?
You know, if you had to meet Aretha Franklin, you know this woman's a star.
But this is the worst part.
Something? Joyce had that.
She had a very good voice.
People would gravitate towards her.
Very exotic.
Except the people who didn't check on her for 3 years.
Her.
Everything about her was immaculate. She just reminded me of somebody that I would like to be.
People said she looked
But
like
not
Whitney
check on her
Houston.
for 3 years.
I thought she was more attractive than that.
We can pause it now.
Somebody
Yeah, no,
must
like this like poor guy, like he's like, I thought she was more attractive than Whitney Houston actually.
Shade.
Yeah, but still, I mean, she was very attractive. Like
something's not
like,
adding up.
Well, okay, so what the backstory is? It like also she worked for like Ernst and Young, so like she worked for like she worked in finance and shit too. And like she had a loving family.
I want to know, but I don't. I kind of want to watch it myself without being spoiled.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I mean, like we
No,
kind of know the thing already.
I almost want to ask, but is there anything more to it? Is it worth? Well, okay. Is it worth watching the documentary?
It is worth watching it. So what happened in general is that I'm not going to ruin anything because like they'll tell you so many parts of the story, but it ends up that she had a boyfriend who abused her, so she was trying to hide from him. So she cut off some contact because it was partially she was also trying to hide from him.
Okay.
During
So she
this
cut
whole
people
thing.
off. Okay.
Yeah, but still the story, like.
And again,
but I
we
mean,
have,
like,
you know, she's a black woman. She's got knows apparently, if she can be not discovered for 3 years, it's like where are her support systems? That's the thing. I'm I'm more upset about the people who claim to have, enjoyed her company and she's so beautiful and she's so great, but then they're not concerned when they don't see her for 3 years. Like where's the respect for her life? Like has value as a person, and
But I think
nobody
it's
wanted
all.
to check in.
But I think it's also like, I mean, people also, you put off like a front that you're like strong and stuff, and then like they were probably they weren't worried about her because they assumed that like she was so charismatic. Why would anybody miss her? Like, why would she not have a support network?
Yeah. Well, to any of my friends out there watching, if you don't hear from me for 3 years, if you don't hear from me in a year, and it doesn't occur to you to call, I'm gonna be very upset with you. I know I say I'm independent. Check on what's the saying? Check on your friends who are doing okay. Remember the friends you assume are doing okay? Check on them. Hi, I'm him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
me.
I mean, I think that maybe that's it too. Like, I think that like why it's so like resounds during COVID is that like okay, wait. One, we're all scared of dying. Two, we're scared of like going through, like, she already went through trauma and pain. We're scared of dying. We're scared of dying alone, which happens to a lot of people during COVID because you can't be around people. And then to be forgotten. Like, I think this is partially why this documentary is so resounding right now, because so many people are feeling isolated. So even if you think someone is like, so you would never think that they wouldn't have someone to call, like, call them.
Yeah.
Like, see how they're doing.
So now
because
I'm thinking about how you opened this segment.
How did I open it? I forgot now. It's
Talking
been so
about
long.
how you're going to be alone for COVID, Beth. Just know, I promise to check on you at least once a month.
I mean, I
at
told
least
you. Okay,
in December, since this is fresh for you.
Okay, wait. Okay, and just to reveal a little backstory, I was saying that I was going to be a mess this month, and I feel like this kind of ties back to that. Like, I knew I was going to be a mess this month, and this is partially
not so much
part
that
of
you
it.
think you're going to be the next Joyce story.
I hope not to be the noise. But my mom is very concerned about that. That's why she calls me like every day, just to make sure that like I'm not like the body in front of the television, which would probably happen.
No, for sure.
Hopefully my dogs would bark or something. I don't know.
And I guess it was so long they couldn't determine the cause of death.
Yeah, no, they couldn't tell. They think it had to do with something with her. Oh, and she was young. She was like early 30s too. So they think it had something to do with like she had some recent surgery or something. So it was a freak physical thing that did not affect her body.
For sure, yeah. Huh.
But I mean, like, I don't know. The story just so resounds because she was just a normal person who just like lived through a lot, and then like, anyway. So also, if you're feeling alone during the holidays, reach out to other people.
Yes,
sorry, that was a
please.
depressing thing. I don't know.
That's why I'm trying to save it with some like light humor, but I don't want to laugh at the expense of this woman either. Like, that's really sad what happened. But don't worry, you are not alone. I am here with you. Though we're far away, I am here to say you are not alone. Okay, there you go.
I don't know if I feel better.
Welcome. You're welcome.
I don't know if I feel any better about that. That might have been more depressing. I think that might have been more depressing.
All right, let's leave it there. We're going to go into our very last segment. Don't even. All right, Beth.
Yeah.
What's your don't even?
Don't even think Michigan did not plan canceling the game. Let's talk about that. The Ohio State-Michigan game has been canceled.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, wait. I know that I'm a New Yorker now because I read that in the New York Post. I was
day for the New York Post.
The New York Post cover the Ohio State. Okay. And also, don't even think that the Big Ten is not a big deal because, like, college football, like, sports in general are a big deal. Like, obviously. We do not think that's a big deal in New York. And I know that, like, that's part of the reason that, like, I've become such a New Yorker that I don't follow sports. I have to read the news. Continue.
College football makes the world go round for at least part of the year. Oh, that's interesting. That's the last thing I expected to come out of here. That's so funny. What's my don't even not show up to your own debate. And don't even criticize the person that showed up to the debate after the debate that you didn't attend. So how could you even have an opinion of the debate when you weren't even there? So if you don't know, I'm talking about Brian Kemp, Georgia again, and my boo John Ossoff. So they were meant to have another debate.
Wait, where do we land, by the way? Is he snackable or like, what do we think? Is he?
He's like an amuse-bouche or like a palate cleanser, but not the main. Let me find a. But yeah, so they had another debate, and if you didn't see the first debate before the election, John Ossoff wiped the floor with Kemp. He basically went on this rant. He said, "It's not just that you're corrupt."
By the way, Ossoff is obviously a Democrat and is a Republican. So we're talking about, and this is one of the 2 Senate races that will determine the majority in the Senate. Continue.
Yes. So I want to find the photo of
Kemp. Sorry, I didn't say Kemp. Kemp is Republican.
Of Ossoff. I can't make it bigger, but I'll share it here. He's just like.
But it's really sad. He's standing at this, like, I love how he's pointing to the empty, like.
Oh, you can't see my cursor, but yeah, it's the one on the far right. He's just like, hey, I mean, there's nobody here. What am I gonna do?
There's literally no one here.
Literally nobody here. So yeah, but
it's better in the wider shot. It's better in the wider shot because you're just like, there's so much room.
You see the empty podium.
Yeah.
But afterwards, Brian Kemp had his own opinions about the debate. He thought that Ossoff did poorly in the debate.
Against himself. It's not a debate. It's really a monologue. Like, that's not a debate.
Yeah. So, and also, I don't know if you saw the Loeffler debate, but basically Botox was trending during her debate against the pastor because her expression, someone showed like 8 different screenshots from different points in the debate, and her expression didn't change. Wait, I gotta find that one. And this is all just for fun. Just because she can't make facial expressions is not an indication of her ability to govern. Let's just say that. But can I find I won't be able to find it. Anyway, don't even have the same facial expression for the entirety of your debate. Mix it up. You gotta the people need to know that there's a living, breathing person under that visage. So yeah. That's my don't even. All right. Let's keep that short and simple because we are way over time. Shall we finish with an inspirational reading?
Yes, let us.
So if it's your first time here, we always end with a little inspirational reading from the manual of the Warrior of Light.
Yes.
La 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 la. Okay.
This is how I love this. It's actually how I used to read the Bible.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying. It's a very random. Share. Continue.
Bible nerd. Oh, I just realized. Maybe I'll hold it up so you can see it. Okay. A warrior of light knows his own faults, but he also knows his qualities. Oh.
Ooh,
so
that's good.
Some of his companions complain all the time that other people have more opportunities than we do. Perhaps they are right, but a warrior does not allow himself to be paralyzed by this. He tries to make the most of his virtues. Yes. He knows that the gazelle's power lies in its strong legs. The power of the seagull lies in the accuracy with which it can spear a fish. He has learned that the reason the tiger does not fear the hyena is because he is aware of his own strength. He tries to establish what he can truly rely on, and he always checks that he carries 3 things with him: faith, hope, and love. If these 3 things are there, he does not hesitate to go forward. Okay. Louder for the people in the back. Faith, hope, and love. That's all you need. All you need is love. What is that? Oh, I'm thinking of
all you need is love. Love is all you need.
Work.
Love is all you need.
Okay, so Now in the comments, let me know who sang it better, my rendition of whatever song I sang, or Beth just singing All You Need Is Love. And I'll just collect my win right now because I know I did better. Okay, so that's the
I do not think that's true. You have that moment.
Thanks for watching. This was Gen XY Zen. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, like this video, and we will get back to you. I don't know what to say.
Wait. Okay, yeah.
That was our outro. So yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We love you.
Okay.
Beth, any words for the people?
Yes, follow us at Gen XY Zen on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And also be sure to subscribe and what else?
I think you did all of the things. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll leave it there. And we'll have Davi Lorenzo bring us out with Brighter Days. Bye, friends. Just wait and see.